Just gonna put the camera in place, but oh, here we go. Hello? Yeah? What do you mean there's other camera angles? Hi guys, as you can see, welcome to part 3 of the Year of the Water series. Bit of a different camera angle, just because I felt like doing something a bit different. Excuse the hair, I don't really care. I've been to locals all day and my shower is warming up because of the heating. So today we went to locals and tested out Mermail for a 5-round event. There's a locals in my road, same place as the regionals was for a vlog before. Don't know what it is, but whenever I take some of my friends there, I just don't do well. So our current record was not the best, basically. I'll take a few notes on my phone. You can see some clips, guys, from the video coming up, but fasten your seatbelts. It is not a good show. So round 1, we sit down against Orcust. Should be a pretty good matchup. I like playing against Orcust. Pretty good game. As you can see, however, from our hand, it's looking a bit bad. We've opened up 1 Undyne, 1 Gamma Seal, 2 Abyss Spike, and an Abyss Dyne. Hopefully our draw will get much better. And no, it's another Undyne. Probably the worst draw we could have asked for. And to make it just worse, he is going to obviously use Galatea in my standby phase. Before I can use my Kaiju to set the Crescendo. After obviously Kaijuing the IP, which is probably the biggest risk on the board, we can play around Crescendo pretty easily. Our only players to normal summon Undyne, uses effect to send Dragoons to grave, obviously which is going to add us an Abyss Megalo. After summoning Abyss Megalo, we're going to try and beat over some of the stuff on his board, out in the Galatea pretty easy, but after that, 1 Mind Control and a few Orca shenanigans later, and that is game 1 lost, free of Borosword OTK. Moving then into game 2, we've opened a little bit better. We've got a Panktops and a Sekker's Light, which we can play with through. We ashed the Harp Horror, which I feel is the suitable choke point to stop him from playing the game. Hopefully that will enable us to come in an OTK. And so then for turn, we draw into another Sekker's Light. Not the best option we've got right now, also we've already got one. For gameplay, also we normal summon the Net Abyss. We don't know what the set card is yet, so we're going to send Dragoons, which is going to add a Marksman, and then Dragoons is obviously going to add the Abyss Megalo, because that is how we're going to OTK. The reason we add the Marksman, we don't know what the set card is, and we just maybe want to pop it before we commit. Then, sending the Dragoons and a Marksman, we're going to summon Abyss Megalo using the Dragoons Chainlink 1, chain blocking with Marksman. It's an Imperm, which is going to eat up the Abyss Megalo. Dragoon's going to add Lapis Dragon, which then summons itself to the board, which we are then going to synchro into Brionac for. So Lapis Dragon is a free synchro or a link material, so really nice. We're going to bounce his board, also popping stuff of heavy infantry on the way. From the Dragoons, we're going to use to add Deep Sea Diva, because we can't really add any more extenders. He's got only 2 cards in hand. We're going to punch a lot. Obviously, we don't OTK him, and then that is a Borosword OTK to round out game 2. Round 1 gone. Orcust, like I said before, should be an easy matchup for us. Everything on paper should be easy. The only problem we can have is maybe Dingirsu protecting from things like heavy infantry. But this deck, as you can see from this video onwards, just bricks in its current form. Do not copy my build. Go to someone good like Winter Kills and copy their Mermail build. Please don't. I will be improving the build maybe to go for a hand loop variant, but right now Blind Second is not the way we will need to go. Round 2, we are facing up against Dino. A good favourite deck of mine. I love this build. I played it back in 2017, playing things like Dino Zodiac and True King Dino Zodiac. Very fun decks. Obviously now I've missed back to 3. They're a pretty viable deck again back at the locals and regionals level, so they have my seal of approval. So, round 2, as I said, we sit down against Dino. 2 OTK decks should be quite fun. My hand is pretty decent. Unfortunately, though, he has made us go first, which is something I don't really want to do. We need to draw into something off this Sekker's Light. So, I activate Sekker's Light, he lets it go through. It's nice size. Draw into Deep Sea Diva and another Sekker's Light, which isn't the best. So, I only play really... we send back a Ash Blossom with the Sekker's Light, maybe drawing something good. No, that's an Abyss Dyne. That is obviously another Garnet. After normal summoning Deep Sea Diva, it's our only play. We use the effect time summon a Net Abyss, and it's met for an Ash Blossom. Yikes. That is going to be our turn pretty much over, and we have no choice just to pass. On my opponent's turn, he summons a Panktops, has a good card going second, here's a good card. Then normal summons an Overraptor, which is then met with our Ash Blossom. Yes, how does it feel, minion?
After then attacking into the Deep Sea Diva and with the Oviraptor Saw for some small bouts of damage, but still a pretty large amount considering the game stake. And obviously having the Pentops, he is going to have the upper hand. He then is just pretty much forced to pass turn on these two monsters. Seeing what we draw in turn, it has an Abyss Megalo, which is a very, very nice card to draw into at this point. We'll use Seeker's Light, maybe draw into some more useful stuff. That is a Heavy Infantry, and that is a Marksman, not the best draw cards that we've gone into. Seeker's Light, send back the Garnet and Dine, and what do we get off the top? That's a Gamma Seal, so we've got 2 Gamma Seal in hand. That deals with Pankratop's problem quite nicely. Opponent was a bit annoyed by that. Summon my own Gamma Seal. Then we're going to send Heavy Infantry and I believe, yep, Abyss Mando to the grave for the Abyss Megalo. This will then enable me to pop the Oviraptor with the Heavy Infantry. Then, obviously, after swinging into battle to out my own Gamma and then take some damage, that'll be 2-4 done in damage there. We're going to banish the Abyss Manda in main phase 2 to make the Abyss Megalo level 8, which is going to enable me to make a Hope Harbinger just to stop any double Evolution Peel in hand. What does my opponent have for an answer to this, however? Of course, he's playing Blind Second Dino, so why not throw in some Cyber Dragons? Didn't see this coming at all. Unfortunately, this is immediately a Contact Fuse for Chimera Tech, and seeing my hand, which is Marksman, and my draw is Dragoons, that would be game 1. So then moving on to game 2, my opponent starts off with a Desires. Obviously made him go first because I want to OTK. Desires is a very good card, allows you to add 2 more cards to your hand. Unfortunately, in doing this, my opponent then banished all 3 of his double evolution pills, which unfortunately is not the way you want to go. I was saving the Ash for maybe a Fossil Dig or an Oviraptor summon. Nothing came, however, and my opponent it seemed brick quite horribly to want to go first, so all he ended up doing was setting 3 cards and passing. I was jumped for joy. Unfortunately, some of the cards in my hand would obviously be dead. There's one of them. No monster to summon. That Gambasil might as well just be a Gen X controller at this point. Unfortunately, luckily it is water. We normal summon the Neptibus, expect to be hit with an Imperm or something like that. Nothing obviously happens. He reads it just to make sure it sends as cost, so that makes me think he does have some sort of interruption. I send for cost obviously Dragoons to add Dragoons and Abyss Megalo. After using Abyss Megalo using Marksman, I'm going to pop one of his back row here, thinking hopefully I can clear some of it. It happens to be, unfortunately, a artifact Scythe. So the Neptibus summons back the Marksman itself, and then the Scythe summons, which then obviously is going to lock me out of my extra deck for the turn. I attack over his board, forget about the Scythe, and then main phase 2 go to link into Abyss Lacia, and also make a VFD. Unfortunately, he reminds me I was apologetic and then summoned stuff to back, obviously, from my grave, and had to pass on this mediocre board. My opponent top decks into another Pankratops, which is an immediate out to both of my Abyss Megalos. From there on out, things don't get much better. After drawing from a Seeker's Light, I use its graveyard effect to send back a Gen X controller. Obviously, we do not want this normal monster in hand. I searched it the turn before, you didn't just see it by summoning an Undyne and sending a Dragoons. As you can see, my opponent shuffle cuts my decks. I draw, and what is it? The same one of Gen X controller. Other highlights include my opponent pass turn, me top decking into a Seeker's Light, my best card I could probably top deck in, and what do I draw? 2 Ash Blossom. Yes, this is perfect. Well, no biggie, I can send one back with the Seeker's Light graveyard effect once more. As you can see, once again, my opponent shuffles and cuts my deck. Plops it back in front of them. Small little mistake here. I, by mistake, draw into 2 cards. I did not see that card. Instead, I actually draw a Abyss Megalo. That was the card I was meant to draw. And
why? Round 3, we're up against Striker. Really fun and interesting striker list. I love this guy that I play against here. Really funny guy to play against and says a lot of funny things. He's funny. Expert commentary there by Connor. I'm still ill, by the way. I've been ill for like 3 months. If you watch all my videos for the past 2 months, I've just been ill. I'm pretty sure I've got pneumonia at this point. Dramatic.
Oh wow, who let this go on YouTube? Talk about a drama queen. Anyway, so game 3 up against our striker boy. As you can see, we opened 2 Pankratops, which means one of them is dead going first. Maybe we could be lucky that Seconds Light and shuffle it back. Opponent, as a good player, opens Engage, which is obviously the pro play. And then using that Engage, they're going to search themselves a Widow Anchor. After that, it's pretty much the standard Sky Striker things. They make a Kagari and then into adding back the Engage and then searching another Engage in the end phase with Shizuku. 2 blind set cards, and I know one of them is a Widow Anchor. From here, I have a rough idea of how I'm going to break this board. See what I top deck. It's a heavy infantry, pretty useful for the Shizuku, but nothing much. Activate the Sekkers, draw into pretty much exactly what we need. And as I said earlier, I'm going to use the second effect to shuffle away one of the Pankratops, which is obviously a dead card because we can't use 2 in one turn. And we want to try an OTK. However, in my mistake, I do actually make some mistakes in this turn. After doing all that, I don't actually summon the Pankratops before I commit another monster to the board, and as it's striker, well, they only control 1 monster, it means I can no longer summon the Pankratops, so this is just a clear sign that I'm a bad player. I go to try and summon the Abyss Megalo using heavy infantry, and I think that was a Dragoons. I'm going to try and search and then pop, just to force out the Ray early. Then, following on from that, we normal summon the Net Abyss, use its effect to send us cost Dragoons, and adding a copy of Lapis Dragon off of the Dragoons. We then summon another Megalo Smasher using another Dragoons, which is obviously going to trigger once more to search us a Marksman. We add Marksman just because we can use the Megalo Smasher, Megalo Abyss to send Net Abyss to attack twice, which triggers the Net Abyss to summon back the heavy infantry from Graveyard. Just confirming my opponent because he was asking what it does. Just summon back the heavy infantry, which is then obviously going to give me additional normal summon. We've still got the Lapis Dragon on board, don't forget. So I can normal summon the Marksman. My opponent then just checks his back row, just to make sure he has no responses. Right now, a Trench Tribute would hurt. Thankfully, we're not in 2014, where that would pretty much destroy me. We're then going to link summon using the Lapis Dragon and the heavy infantry just to make some space for the Marksman possibly to summon another monster. Also, Abyss Glacier is going to give my 2 Mega Smashers an attack boost. Upon seeing the big scary things and entering battle phase, my opponent is going to quick effect Ray into Kana, lock down the Mega Smasher that can attack twice, Abyss Megalo. Upon attacking with the other Abyss Megalo, however, he is going to use Lost Wind, which reduces it lower than to what Kana is. Even with my attack boost, he beats me by 100, I believe, or it's very 50, I believe, something really small, which is then obviously going to destroy my Abyss Megalo. From this, I can't really cover, and as such, strike a win.
So sadly with that, game 2 did not record properly. The features of that game were pretty much, I managed to open 2 Denko Sekka, which him going first, setting cards was, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Unfortunately, opening 2 Denko Sekka means you're not opening enough waters to summon enough things to make an OTK. I make Denko Abyss Megalo, doesn't punch him for game, but I'm thinking Denko Sekka should be good. Obviously, the first thing he does is engage from his hand because he kept it, because he was reading a Denko Sekka for Afterburners, which then popped the Denko and enabled him to play. Turn 4, so my second turn, I managed to summon another Denko, and the same things happen. I punch him a bit, but don't obviously end the game. And then sadly, another Afterburners. Games are games. After that, though, I managed to have a small little chat with him and discuss some of the interesting text, which I'm going to show you guys now. So, after round 3, was that? I think? Yeah, round 3, just played Striker, as you saw the game 1. I didn't manage to record game 2 because of problems with the iPad. Many engages happened. A Denko happened. And Denko didn't happen.
Denko happened twice.
Denko happened twice, that is true, actually. But Afterburners just says no.
Yeah.
But you were playing some spice in your striker list that we didn't quite get to see in the video. But after talking about it, I really just want to show this off.
Cool. So some of the main things that were spicy is I'm running that. So it's a blonde woman with a sword. So it's 4th Ray. This keeps coming up. Like I've banished Colossus with this. Mighty Master of Magic. Denko. Rota searches it. It's been weirdly okay because especially if you've got your whole game plans going, you don't need your normal DD Warrior Lady is spot removal, I guess.
We were making a joke. Reese plays a lot of GOAT format.
Yep.
So this is like when a GOAT format player plays Sky Striker.
You just see what you need when you need it.
Yep.
Just play one of it. And another thing as well is that I'll set this someone attacked with a Gazelle into it because I have their AB1. It's just like Bounty Castile. Also 100 damage, so that's pretty good.
Yep.
And then the other spicy thing that you wanted me to show is I'm playing Sonic Universe. So Link monsters gain 300 that I control, and during other players, just during my turn, once a turn, I get to recycle one card from my graveyard back into the deck, which is usually that. So just every turn is Kagari. I keep ending up with Mega Kagaris. I would play 3 and I should play 3, but playing this bad card, which is absolutely terrible. So yeah, Sonic Universe. Don't read the third effect, it's incredibly relevant. Essentially, if this gets sent to the graveyard by card effect, then it wipes the extra monster zones. So yeah, that's not fun.
Yeah, but it's just the fact that like you keep putting back Kagari every turn, and they all gain 300, so Kagari goes to 18 plus its own effect.
Yeah, so it is really good because it helps you establish like a win con, because now you need bigger monsters to try and win.
Yep.
So yeah, and that and just all the extra advantage that you get off of just multiple Kagaris is insane.
Yep.
So I'll probably bounce this up to 3, because especially after you've done like some of your initial stuff and like Area Zero's happened, this is just infinitely better.
Yep.
So yeah, Sonic Universe, good card.
It's a good card. This came up a lot as well, though, so I like all of this.
Yeah, just not this.
Some of the other ideas could be used in the future. I quite like the DD Warrior Lady because it does pretty much suit the theme of the deck, where it clears itself from the main monster zone as well as removing a threat. And he did actually use it on Thunder Dragon Colossus, hard drawing it, which was quite hilarious in my opinion. Round 4 up against zombies, a deck I know quite well. A few of my friends play this quite often.
So we're just after his turn, drawing for my turn off of Sekka's Light for the second effect. He's set up IP Masquerena, Bailage Rock, and Sucker. I'm just going to hide you the Bailage Rock just to get that out of the way. The only problem now I have to deal with is IP. He has got a Fishborg on his board. That's from my graveyard. He used Danger Mothman to discard it from my hand when I discarded it. I'm going to normal summon the Deep Sea Diva, use activate its effect. My opponent is going to respond with the IP Masquerena. My opponent has never played against Mermail before, same as the a few of the other players I've played today. Seems like quite an old school deck, surprisingly. He's going to respond with IP Masquerena. He's just deciding now what he's going to go into. I know exactly what I'm going to summon, so I'm just going to put it on the top of my deck here. He was going to give me back my Fishborg launcher, but doesn't want to because obviously I'm going to be able to access its graveyard effect, so makes Unicorn. The way the chain links then will resolve is I will summon Neptibus, and before I have a chance to summon use Neptibus effect, he is going to go Unicorn effect, pick a target, so he's obviously going to go for the Neptibus. He's just reading it now to make sure it's not on summon effect. You can't really see it because my deck box is in the way, but he just discarded Glow Up Bloom as well for this effect, so that's going to then trigger, banish itself as cost, and summon a Bailage Rock from his deck. So even though I got rid of one of the Bailage Rocks, it is now obviously out. And with Zombie World on board, anything I summon is then also going to be a zombie, which could be a problem. Just going to make sure it allows him to summon a Unicorn. It's just for the rest of the turn, so that is still all fine. This puts me in a little bit of a pickle. Obviously I've got the Megalo Smashers in my Abyss Megalos in my hand. Don't know what I keep calling that. I have got 3 Dragoons in my hand. The only problem is I've got Lapis Dragon in my hand as well. A better Mermail player could probably find a way to win this game. Unfortunately, with the Bailage Rock there as well, I just couldn't out this board, and we're just going to go straight on to Game 2. Game 2 is a lot more my style, with a horrible brick. My opponent's only players to normal summon Gozuki, activate this effect, send Neckwed Banshee to maybe have fun with Zombie World. Other than that, he can't do much else, so in my turn I draw into a Abyss Deus with a fully loaded hand, and yep, this is just an OTK, so we're going to head straight to Game 3. Game 3, we're going to head off with a Neptibus. Obviously, your opponent making us go in first because they want to be OTK'd. Neptibus is pretty much going to send Dragoons. We all know the Neptibus combo by now. Unfortunately, going first does hinder us quite a lot. We have opened a Pankratops, which we cannot use. Going to use the other Dragoons to add a Lapis Dragon, which is then obviously going to summon itself. This is just there to make the Abyss Latia, which can be a Dryden if we have heavy infantry in hand. We do have the heavy infantry in hand, however, we also have the Abyss Megalo. My thinking is that I can maybe get the Abyss Megalo on board, just as a bit of a speed bump, if you will, to stop us getting OTK'd. So I use it to summon itself, using the heavy infantry and the Dragoons, just using the Dragoons to search another heavy infantry for the Abyss Lacia, almost like a Dryden type effect. We then obviously link up into the Abyss Lacia. While not the best opening board compared to summon decks, it is the best option we have to us right now. Our opponent is going to start things off with a Danger Nessie. Dangers are a really fun thing to add into zombies. Obviously, put bodies on the board, which you're going to see to great effect just here. And the card I snipe is obviously a Mizuki, because we are that nice. The reason this is so good is once he gets 2 dangers on board and also a zombie world, he actually is able to do something quite cool that I did not know could actually work this way. So it links the 2 now zombie dangers into Vampire Sucker and uses its effect to tribute summon for Baladrock. I always thought this was actually limited to vampires only, so you can only tribute summon for vampires. It is not, so it's basically just a Monarch Storm for me for 2. Before I can even respond with my Abyss Lacia. This is just a grind game that we cannot win.
Round 5, unfortunately, we had the bye because we had not won a single match that entire day. This has been the worst performance of my life at a locals, and I was going to go home to commit Sudoku at that point. What I would say from this experience has been that Mermail blinding second this format, not the best. If you go back to part 1 of this series, I said it probably would not perform that well. Part 2, I sort of got picked up in the hype for Masteral 5. I was like, yeah, I'll play Mermail, it'll be great. Obviously, as we can still see, Mermail blinding second is not a viable thing to do in this format. It is currently the 12th. Hopefully in the next few days we should have a ban list. Thunder, small little tap, I'm expecting Striker maybe a bit more, just to bring them back on the engine. I don't mind Striker being like a really pure build, but Engage needs to go at this point for the deck to be less splashable. Orcust, I don't really care for. Orcust can just leave at this point, in my opinion. But Konami doesn't think so, because obviously they've given it the new card, which is searchable by Mech Knight Memories, Purple Nightfall, all of the Orcust shenanigans. It is Phantom Skyblaster meets Armageddon Knight / Mathematician. Not what I was expecting Konami to do to a deck that has been meta for nearly 2 years now. But why not? Moving on from this, I will continue to test Mermail, maybe make a going first variant using hand loops that I've seen on Discord. Amazing community, by the way. Thank you guys for some support. Obviously, any comments below, any tips, please give me. I do want to try and do well with Mermail. Unfortunately, I haven't played them for many years, and I may have been out of touch with some of the more recent builds. Moving forwards, I am going to be testing things like Marine Cess, Paleo, again Mermail. I only discovered today that obviously Crystron's of Water, with Master 5 coming up, that could look quite fun. If you want to see them, give me a shout. Otherwise, this was part 3. We hit rock bottom, and the only way is up. Thank you for this Grinch Fest. Freaky Fish Guy. I'll see you next time.